S-Class hero Blast is one of the most enigmatic characters in One Punch Man. There is a lot you may not know about him. Like, did you know he had a son? Did you know he had dimensional powers and can manipulate the reality of the cosmos?
No way!
Did you know he leads the Avengers? Did you know that he's the one that saved Tatsumaki?
I am so confused right now.
Exactly. This man is one of the most important characters in the entire One Punch Man manga. With the release of chapter 166, it showed us what Blast is capable of and what's his story. That's right, it's time to go deep in Blast.
Whoa, hey.
Wait a second, no. Balls deep about Blast and why he's the highest ranked hero in history. Blast sits on the top of the Hero Association rankings since the very day he joined them. That was at least 20 years ago. Even though he's the strongest hero, Blast rarely engages with monsters. Just like Saitama, he treats the hero job as a hobby and pursues his own goal instead. Now when I say he treats this job as a hobby, it's not in the same way as Saitama. You could probably find our bald caped hero in City Z running around frantically to fight a monster from time to time, and he's always there to fight a major threat. May it be a meteor, a super strong sea creature, a human turned monster, or anything else. On the other hand, nobody knows Blast's whereabouts unless he tells the head of the Hero Association directly. They don't know where he is or what he's doing at any given time. In fact, many have raised concerns about Blast's behavior in the Hero Association, but he is considered to be an exception due to his overwhelming strength. They also believe that Blast will come to save the day when humanity is endangered. Sitch, the Minister Officer of Justice at the Hero Association, stated that Blast cannot be ordered around like the other heroes, simply because of the level he's at. That's right, my friends, he's a Chad, he's built different. However, don't get the wrong idea, this doesn't mean that Blast exploits the Hero Association and he's not using his powers to help people. We'll explain his hobbies later in the video after explaining a few more aspects to him that are important for the context. Since he's so mysterious, we've only had a few chances to actually see Blast. We saw his silhouette for the first time in chapter 85 of the manga, and we actually got to see him in chapter 139. He was indeed sexy, gorgeous, and lived up to expectations. So much so that, you know, when he appeared in chapter 139, if you saw that, everyone practically busted a nut, fam. No homo. Whilst Blast's suit was crisp and clean in the past, it has mild damage and scars, presumably sustained from his many battles. He also wears shades and has a scar running across his face. The outline of his iris is a wavy black pattern, as opposed to just a consistent outline seen in other characters, which hints at the fact that he wears lenses. Fubuki mentioned that Blast can shoot laser beams from his eyes. However, Blast's son in the webcomic, who has the same eyes, explains that he has lenses for gauging the environment to give data to the user, and it's not an offensive weapon. However, in chapter 166, we found out that Blast understands the cosmos, so the rumor Fubuki mentioned can still hold to be true, as the energy he uses can create anything of his desire. As long-term One Punch Man fans, you know, if you were around 6 years ago, we as a community believed that Blast was not in the manga, and this was because it was linked to the statement he made to Tatsumaki that she shouldn't rely upon a hero to come save the day. Instead, use her own power and resilience to strive forward as a hero. This led many of us to believe for years upon years that Blast must have left society alone because he wanted the world to adapt and change for the better, rather than creating a culture that expected him to save the day and an over-reliance on heroes whenever something went wrong. As we know, Blast only appears when a god-level threat presents itself to destroy humanity. We now have the answer why this is the case. Boy, were we wrong 6 years ago. And remember those theories? And I was a part of it too. We made theories that Blast could be Saitama. Remember those theories from 6 to 8 years ago? What were we thinking? So, unlike a lot of A and S class heroes who look down upon weaker heroes and seem to place themselves on a pedestal, Blast is far from that. From his interaction with Saitama, Flashy Flash and Monoko in chapter 137 of the manga, the #1 hero showed qualities that suit a hero the best. Even though the three were in possession of a mysterious cube which was used by God to bless people, he calmly inquired if they had accepted God's offer. Even when Flashy Flash tried to test Blast's true abilities with his fastest attacks, Blast easily dodged him and asked him to calm down, son, and even took his name and rank, implying that Blast is aware of everything that's going on in the world. This shows some extreme self-awareness, and the core of Blast's character is heroic and understands that people, especially the ones who are strong, might grow skeptical of his abilities if he does not show up for an extended period of time. Although in chapter 187 he was weirded out to see Monoko since she's a monster, because it didn't seem like the monster was kept as a prisoner, still he asked about the situation with Monoko first and calmly listened to Saitama, who's usually ignored by A and S class heroes due to the hierarchical system. The three paired into a pitch black hole in chapter 137 where the god was hiding whilst they were underground. It looked like a big human-like monster. The light emanating from it hardly illuminated even the slightest portion of God's head, making it nearly impossible to comprehend the immensity of this hole. Even now, it appears that the hole was somewhere else in the galaxy rather than on Earth, but the three couldn't see it because it was completely dark. On the other hand, Psychos and Orochi perceived God as a vast planet-like being that resembled brain cells and the universe's structure, with a surface similar to planet Jupiter. Later, when God confronts the homeless emperor to seize his life and power before too much of his identity is exposed to Zombie Man, we finally get a clearer picture of this supposed God. Here it appears as a massive titan-like being composed of earth in a lovely lush garden. God appeared as Blast in manga chapter 156 and attempted to deceive Tatsumaki into thinking that her savior had returned to aid her, revealing to us that this god creature has knowledge and comprehends the origin of most heroes and their intentions and dreams, clearly showcasing to us that this god character is omnipresent and omniscient to some extent. In the very same way, God tried to bait Garo into taking his power in chapter 163. However, Garo saw through this and slapped away God's hand, declining the offer. But God transferred a chunk of its power to Garo during that small physical contact, giving birth to Cosmic Garo. This is all linked to the mysterious cubes that God uses, and Blast is pursuing this entire time. Blast is aware of them, and his entire mission in life is to stop his release. A lot of people in our community that have the notification bell on, they believe that God's power was sealed into those cubes and he uses them to give powers to people and to find a worthy sacrifice to fulfill the destiny mentioned in an ancient mural deep underground. For those unaware, the mural states that God will be resurrected when a worthy sacrifice is found. This theory automatically explains why everybody can't lift these cubes. All the beings who received God's blessings have become dragon level threats or above with ease. This supposed being can literally make people into dragon level threats with just a fraction of his power. Just try to imagine how strong he scales. It's equal to Saitama per se. So what is God's objective though? Like, what would it want to achieve after getting unsealed? Revenge? Maybe. Universe domination? Sure, seems Seems like it. I mean, just think about it. A planet like Earth is insignificant in the grander scale of things. Blast is opening multiple dimensions and visiting multiple planets. Hence, Earth is just a stepping stone. From chapter 156 of the manga, we get to see the silhouette of Blast's Avengers. These beings could belong to another planet, dimension, or even another galaxy. From the looks of it, those heroes or beings are close to Blast in terms of power. From the events of chapter 162, we know that Blast and his Avengers, their full-time job is to prevent God's resurrection. Garo's cosmic form was so strong that Blast had to jump into the fight to save the planet, as this is the strongest being God has created on Earth. Blast definitely knows more about God than what he shows, and it could be related to God's true goal. For what we know, this God could be trying to destroy the whole galaxy, or is trying to become an all-knowing celestial being. Right now, it will be fair to assume that this God was an all-knowing being before, as Garo stated that he completely understands how the cosmos functions. The manga explained this by saying that the Monster Association used monster cells which turned people into one. From their appearance, they look like God, which points yet again that some monsters and strong beings are from this celestial. As we can see from the webcomic, we see Adam and Eve, essentially stating that the human race are weak but adapt to the environment the best. Amai Mask also tells the history that the world went through multiple eras because of war and things of evil nature, whom this God character would have influenced since his mural includes humans and dinosaurs from ancient times. God might have blessed someone with an ability to make these monster cells and provide them to Orochi as a means of exterminating humanity. Therefore, Saitama is the individual that unlocked his limits of humans and adapted to the new era, being the direct antithesis to God's objective and helping Blast. After all, this supposed God knows how to manipulate people.
He sure does, because in chapter 109 during Homeless Emperor's flashback, Homeless Emperor claimed that he was a regular person who had become weary in life in this cruel world after losing his job and means of existence as a result of the heinous actions of society. So he made the decision to kill himself with the goal of uniting with Mother Earth. God appeared in front of him as a humanoid shape composed of swirling air. It informed Homeless Emperor that he was correct. People aren't stupid. But God made it clear that he didn't have to die. Instead, it gave the Homeless Emperor the ability to deal with people, thereby elevating him to a dragon level threat. God must have been aware of Homeless Emperor's story in which he developed anger towards humanity. Blast is a major influence on major superheroes. Tatsumaki shares a deep bond with him, who once saved her from a hybrid monster and gave her an ideology to follow for the rest of her life. Amai Mask, the class A rank 1 superhero could easily become S class, once was saved by Blast. When Amai Mask had a terrible breakdown, he remembered Blast's words, "Don't worry, it's safe now," and that helped him calm down. Blast also has a son named Blue in the webcomic. Blue is also a hero, however he didn't side with the Hero Association and instead founded the Neo Heroes as an alternative due to the world entering a new era. While we don't know how often the two contact, Blue's abilities do make it seem like he received some sort of training from his father. Now that Blast is finally engaging in an on-screen fight, we know just how strong he is. While we considered him to be one of the strongest characters in the verse, his abilities have surpassed our expectations. We know that Blast's main power is his ability to teleport. An infinity symbol is formed after he bumps his fists, which then creates a portal that Blast uses to travel through dimensions. He can use this to teleport any living being, including himself or anything else. We were excited to see how Blast might use this in battle, and guess what? He's insane with it. Blast's usual sequence is to force his opponent to get stuck in a loop of interdimensional travel by getting his opponents to dodge one portal while catching them off guard and placing another portal in their blind spot, the same way he forced Garou in chapter 166. Combined with his gravity knuckles, this attack should be enough to get rid of most enemies. This forced teleportation is an endless process where the only time you enter your original dimension is to get clobbered. Blast can also use this to force the enemy into another dimension which they can't come back from, as simple as that. These forced teleportations are super hard to break from. Only those that are god level threats or above should be able to break free from this cycle using their insane speed. But it doesn't seem like this happens often, if at all. Blast was extremely surprised by Garou's escape, as if this was the first time it has ever occurred. The reason Garou was able to is because he is similar to Blast. He understands the energy of the cosmos, therefore able to copy abilities way more easier than before and mold the environment to his liking. Furthermore, Blast's gravity knuckles are no joke. The spears around Blast's wrists are concentrated gravitational areas that deal explosive amounts of damage on contact. This means that with every punch, it has gravitational weight and pull behind it, making it even more devastating than any other S-class hero. They can't even scale to this level. Blast is just built differently, reaching planetary buster level. In fact, we are planning to make an entire video power scaling Blast in the future, so make sure to smash the like button and hit the notification bell. What's more impressive is Blast's speed. Though he outsped Flashy Flash's attack off of pure reflexes in chapter 137, this was Flashy Flash's top speed, as he stated himself. This is supposedly the fastest man on the entire planet, but he essentially got no diffed by Blast in that category. However, his feat against Garou makes him a true speed demon. Even though he was flabbergasted due to Garou's ability to instantly perfect his attack, Blast didn't take a single ounce of damage from Garou's combined barrage of nuclear fission fists and gravity knuckles. Blast teleported all of the attacks into the sky, and honestly, this kind of makes him broken. Therefore, it's not even like that Blast's limitation was having to bump his fists to create portals. This guy can just spam that shit. Garou and Platinum Sperm created a constellation in the sky with their impacts in 13 microseconds, which is absolutely mind-bending to even comprehend. Don't take my word for it, just take a look at this guy, alright? I thought we had a degree in anime bullshit science, but boy, this is something else. So distance equals... oh shit. Oh, he got debunked.
Stupid.
However, with Cosmic Garou, his attack speed was on par with Saitama's normal consecutive punches in terms of speed. It's scaling even higher. So if Blast is keeping up with Garou in his cosmic form, it already puts him above Boros and explains the god level threats he deals with in the Avengers team, saving the planet multiple times from the infinite amount of threats that come from different planets or dimensions, but without anyone knowing or getting credit for it. If you're still not grasping just how big of a fight this was right now, literally nobody except for Blast and Saitama can stand up against Garou. Nobody. Blast seems to have an extremely deep understanding of the universe, so he can accurately tell the outcome of any attack in under a second. These dudes can literally play around with the natural order of the universe. No matter who the victor is, these two guys are only below Saitama and God himself in terms of strength. This is a new era of One Punch Man that we are entering. The strongest are going to battle it out, or rather the strongest being we know of are going to battle it out. Each of these beings that are in the Avengers team should be on a level comparable to Blast. There's even a Boros clone amongst them, or at least they look like that must be from the same race. Blast is quite literally the ideal figure for the strongest hero. Cool character design, wisdom, unmatched speed, strength, overpowered ability, and close to zero weaknesses. God, I love this man, bro. I love this man. Anyway, if you like this video, then go check out our video on King and why he is so utterly broken that he could probably beat Blast in one punch, all right? Less than one punch, like half a punch.